I used to cancel plans every month because of my period pain. If I was planning a holiday, for example, I would change my flight dates, and I'd have to skip work and stay at home lying in bed, unable to move, thinking, this can't be normal. And I made myself a promise. I will not rest until I find the cause and how to heal it from the root. And once I find it, I will share my message. Now, I barely notice I am on my period. And no, I didn't go on birth control. I didn't just manage the pain with heating pads and ibuprofen. I actually healed it. Hi, my name is Marcela. And after 11 breast surgeries and trying over 30 different protocols for PCOS, candida, and mysterious symptoms that no doctor could explain, I discovered something the medical world doesn't want you to know. Painful periods aren't a design flaw. They are your body's distress signal, a biological message that goes far deeper than what any blood test can reveal. In this video, I'm going to show you the real reasons behind period pain, both the physical foundations that doctors completely miss and the emotional blueprint stored in your womb that's creating these symptoms. Because there are two factors at play here. By the end, you will understand exactly why your periods hurt and what your body is trying to tell you. And if you want to discover your specific hormonal imbalance pattern and get a personalized roadmap to healing, I've created a free quiz. The link is in the description below. I'll remind you again at the end. So let's dive in. Because once you understand what I'm about to share, everything changes. Before we get into the emotional and energetic aspects, which are profound, we need to talk about two critical physical factors that create the terrain for period pain. Think of this as the foundation of your hormonal home. Without addressing this, nothing else can properly heal. And this is what 99% of doctors never check. Okay, so let's talk about foundation number 1, the hidden intestinal congestion. Here is something your gynecologist probably never asks you about: the state of your intestines. There is a direct anatomical connection between your gut and your reproductive organs that most women have no idea about. When hardened fecal material builds up in your cecum, which is the pouch that connects your small and large intestines in your lower right abdomen, it creates a cascade of problems. First, pelvic congestion. That heavy, crampy, achy feeling in your entire pelvic region. Second, chronic low-grade inflammation that disrupts your hormone production. Third, bloating, lethargy, and mood flatness. And fourth, lower back discomfort during your cycle. Here's what most people don't realize. Your period cramps aren't just about your uterus contracting. They're about your entire pelvic region being congested and inflamed. It's like your womb is trying to function in a toxic, crowded environment. Imagine trying to have a peaceful conversation in a room that is on fire. That's literally what's happening inside your body. When your colon is congested, inflammatory messengers called prostaglandins, I hope I pronounced that correctly, flood your pelvic cavity. And these are the same compounds that trigger the intense cramping during menstruation. So if you've been told it's just bad cramps or just take some ibuprofen, that's only addressing the symptom. The root cause may be the inflammatory environment created by intestinal congestion. Foundation number 2, blocked cell receptors, the omega-3 connection. Okay, so what do I mean? Now, even if you are producing adequate hormones, your estrogen and progesterone levels look normal on paper. Here's the most problem most functional medicine practitioners completely miss. Your cells might not be receiving the signals. Let me explain this with a visual. Picture your cell membranes like the walls of your house, with hormone receptors as the doorways. When mucus, toxins, and metabolic waste accumulate around your cells, these doorways get blocked. Your hormones are knocking on the door, but nobody's home. This is where omega-3 fatty acids become absolutely crucial. and why they are one of the few supplements I actually recommend. Omega-3s work on 3 levels. First, they reduce inflammation caused by intestinal congestion and prostaglandin overproduction, those compounds causing your cramping. Second, they restore cell membrane fluidity. And this is key. When your cell membranes are fluid and flexible, here is what they can do. Receive hormonal signals clearly. Respond appropriately to estrogen, progesterone, and any other messages. Support optimal nerve transmission and immune function. And here's the big one. Improve your cell's ability to eliminate toxins and absorb nutrients. This means every supplement you take, every nutrient-dense meal you eat, actually gets into your cells where it can do its work. Without adequate omega-3s, your cell membranes become rigid and stiff, like trying to open a rusty door. Your hormones can't communicate effectively and your cells can't absorb what they need, even if your diet is perfect on paper. This is why I'm particular about omega-3 quality and testing. Not all supplements are created equal, and most people are severely deficient. I personally use and test with Cincinnus Omega-3. It's a Norwegian brand, high quality because it includes a before and after test that shows your actual cellular omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. Something I've never seen with other brands. Because sometimes we think we have a healthy diet, but only testing can confirm. Link is in the description if you want to check it out. So remember, clean colon plus fluid cell membranes equals the physical foundation for pain-free periods. And overall health, really. So it's not just going to help with your periods. But here's where it gets deeper. Now, if you're finding this helpful so far, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe, because we're about to go into territory that most health content never touches. And if you want my complete guide to balancing your hormones naturally, the link is in the description below. Okay, so we have covered the physical foundation, but this is where most approaches stop. And it's exactly why they fail. Because your womb is not just a reproductive organ. Biologically, yes, it sustains life, but energetically, it's a sacred space of memory, creation, and transformation. Your womb stores the deepest impressions of your womanhood, both personal and ancestral. According to biodecoding pioneer Christian Flesch, symptoms in the womb aren't random malfunctions or bad luck. They are your body's way of processing unresolved emotional conflicts around creativity, womanhood, and intimacy. He says a symptom is an illness activation, a symbolic expression of unresolved emotional shock stored in the tissues as a form of protection, which ironically creates suffering. For women, these silent shocks often relate to the following. Being silenced, and there is a through-womb connection. Unfulfilled maternal or creative roles. Betrayal or abandonment by masculine energy. Inherited shame or trauma from the maternal line. Remember this, your womb doesn't forget what your voice never expressed. So whether you are experiencing painful periods, PCOS, fibroids, or endometriosis, your body may be reflecting fears, guilt, or trauma around embracing your feminine energy. Let me walk you through the 6 core emotional roots that often get stored in the womb and how they show up physically. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the interesting stuff. So, root number 1, fear of embracing feminine identity. The womb is connected to your ability to receive, surrender, and feel safe in your womanhood. If you were raised in environments where femininity was judged, suppressed, or deemed unsafe, where being feminine meant being weak, vulnerable, or rejected, your subconscious creates this association. Being feminine equals being in danger. And when that happens, this often leads to the following. excess masculine energy, and control behaviors. Hormonal chaos, especially PCOS with excess androgens. Tension in the sacral area and irregular and/or painful cycles. Amenorrhea, the absence of menstruation as a symbolic disconnection from feminine cycles. Endometriosis, internalized aggression turned inward toward the feminine self. The beliefs running underneath might be the following. Being a woman is painful or unsafe. I must endure pain to be strong. I am not worthy of ease. The womb in this case becomes a site of internal resistance to the very quality it was designed to express. Softness, fluidity, receptivity, magnetism. Root number 2, fear of creation. Baby or business? Remember, your womb is your source of creation, not just for babies, but for businesses as well, or any creative idea. But I like to use baby or business because it's the two BBs, baby or business. So if you are not creating either, a baby or a business, actually many people call their businesses their babies. So creating a business is creating a baby. Your uterus is your creative center, not just for human life, but for your ideas, dreams, and soulful projects. This means when your creativity is blocked, whether by self-doubt, trauma, or constant overgiving, your body may express this as stagnation, coagulation, or even growth. Christian Flesch identifies this as the biological conflict of creation blocked or stopped. And this can stem from the following. Fear of becoming a mother, biological or symbolic. A miscarriage, abortion, or child loss. Failed attempts at launching a business or bringing a vision to life. Over-identification with the starving artist archetype. A role not fulfilled being a daughter, lover, leader, healer. Or simply denying your creativity. I'm not creative. When these memories are in your field, physically you might see the following. Fibroids, symbolizing coagulated creative energy. Cysts, symbolizing unacknowledged and expressed desires. Heavy or painful bleeding, a metaphor for emotional overflow or unprocessed disappointment. If you could give voice to your womb, it might be saying, I wanted to create something beautiful, but I was too afraid. So it stayed within me and now it hurts. So I hope so far you're getting aha moments as to why periods could be painful. Okay, so root number 3, guilt for feeling pleasure. This is an interesting one. Your womb, in connection with your cervix and vulva, is deeply tied to sensuality, intimacy, and receptivity. But many women carry deep guilt, shame, or fear around pleasure, especially within the following conditions. If they were raised in religious or conservative environments, experience sexual trauma or boundary violations, internalize the belief that pleasure is sinful or selfish, have past life imprints of ascetic lifestyles, like monks or nuns, where you likely took a vow of chastity. And here is something important I like to add. I learned through tarot that religious vows have an enormous impact on our life. There are 4 main vows: chastity, holiness, poverty, and silence. I like to talk about that in another video. Perhaps this is not the right one, but just know that, for now, just know that they have an impact because it's basically in our subconscious that if we, took a vow, that is what is running our life. Well, yeah, I find it fascinating. I think I told you I've learned so much from tarot in relation to, health. Basically, the 3 big areas of our life: health, money, and love. You can learn so much. So let's get back to it. So the belief becomes, I want to connect, but connection brings pain or danger. And this often leads to painful intercourse, painful menstrual cycles, chronic pelvic tension. When the body learns that pleasure is unsafe, it no longer protects your joy. It protects your fear. Root number 4, unresolved romantic and reproductive grief. Your womb holds the energetic imprint of every romantic relationship, every sexual encounter, and every reproductive experience. And this includes lingering resentment or grief from past relationships, energetic cords to former partners that haven't been fully released. And I know that one quite well. Let me tell you, if you end a relationship, but you still carry any sort of feeling, even if it's anger or grief, you are still connected to that person. And that's why sometimes it may seem impossible to get over an ex because you still have a feeling. Even if it's not a romantic one, a loving one, you shouldn't have any resentment, any negative feeling. You should only have gratitude towards that person. And if you don't have that, you're going to have cords, energetic cords, and that's why you keep bumping into him or he keeps texting you or calling you. So you need to release all of that. And if it's very negative, if you're grieving, if you're in a lot of resentment, that could be creating painful periods as well. So the next one is unprocessed emotions from miscarriages or abortions, your own or inherited from your lineage. Guilt, shame, or trauma around sexual experiences, especially the first one, or the loss of virginity, right? Heartbreak that was never fully grieved. And in these cases, you might experience painful periods or irregular cycles, fertility challenges, recurring UTIs or yeast infections. And the sole message here is, I am ready to release what no longer serves my womb's highest purpose. For many women, the memory of their first sexual experience, whether it was physically painful, emotionally confusing, or happened before they felt truly ready, creates a lasting imprint in the womb. This initial encoding can set the tone for how your body responds to intimacy, pleasure, and even your monthly cycle for years to come. And I speak from experience. So let me tell you, I thought I was a spiritual advance, focused on activating my third eye, seeking ascension through my upper chakras. But during a psychic session, the reader said, there is a blockage in your sacral chakra. I believe it. I had done so much inner work. I thought that was impossible. Then at a retreat, a healer told me the following, which is going to sound a little bit out there, but this is what she said. I saw a sword across your sacral chakra. And later I learned when a woman's first sexual experience is corrupted or premature, the sacral chakra can shut down to survive. My first experience wasn't love. It was confusion. It was disconnection. I carried shame, pain, and silence. Until I did the healing. And my womb finally relaxed. And then healing came, the pain stopped. So, sisters, if your first experience was corrupted, you're not alone. And know that you can heal. And this could be the reason why you have painful periods. And most importantly, once you heal it, then that can be the solution, and the painful periods can stop. Reason number 5, karma with water. This one catches most people off guard. Your relationship with water affects your feminine chakras. Why? Because water carries feminine energy. It symbolizes your relationship with the feminine. And water pollution, whether through daily activities like doing dishes or using the bathroom or past life and ancestral disrespect toward water sources, creates karmic blockages in the sacral and womb space. So how can you identify this? You may experience fluid retention, for example. And what can you do about this? Here is a healing practice. Make an offering to a natural body of water. Ask forgiveness. Rebuild a sacred relationship with water. Changing your relationship with water can completely optimize your feminine chakras. And root number 6. ancestral memories or biological loyalty. Your womb carries the stories of your female lineage. Unprocessed grief, sexual shame, prohibited desires, silenced dreams, all of these can be passed down through your maternal line. If your mother, grandmother, or great-grandmother suffer from sexual violation or oppression, religious or cultural shame around menstruation, which happen, forced motherhood or child loss, water pollution in their lands, your body may express this through biological loyalty. You may carry their pain, often unknowingly, until it becomes yours. So if you experience unexplained pain patterns or symptoms that don't respond to conventional treatment, your womb may be bleeding not just for you, but for the women who came before you, who were never allowed to speak. Now, as I've immersed myself in the field of energy and spirituality, I've come across this concept of ancestral loyalty, or biological loyalty, which is the same. And to be honest, I've been battling with it because I never wanted to believe we are victims of anything or anyone. We are creators of our own life. And saying things like, you have this because you got it from your ancestors, is like saying you're a victim of your ancestors, right? That's why some people don't even want to know about these concepts because they think it's just a license to blame others for what happens to you. So my explanation at this point is that it is not entirely down to your lineage. So let me explain. Because how we match with a lineage is due to the law of resonance. This means by sharing something in common. So typically, you experience the same as your ancestors in a past life, and that's why you match with them. So it's really your problem that is being carried over from a past life, and now you're trying to overcome it. Second, our lower ego or wounded inner child likes to imitate to belong and be loved, even if it's imitating illnesses or bad habits. And third, the law of one. We are all one at the end of the day. So you are your ancestors. And that's why karma exists as well. Whatever you do to others, you do to yourself. And that's why it comes back to you. Because it's, you and I, we are the same. Well, I digress a little bit. So coming back to where we were. A healing mantra for you then here is, I heal not just for me, but for all women in my lineage. Now, I want to show you how all this connects. I have created a complete emotional physical map that shows each root, the biodecoding inside, and the physical manifestation. Take a screenshot of this if you want to save it. Now, let's recap what we have covered today. First, the two physical foundations. Intestinal congestion creating chronic inflammation. 2. Blocked cell receptors due to mucus buildup and cellular rigidity. Second, the 6 emotional roots. Fear of embracing feminine identity. Fear of creation, baby or business. 3. Guilt for feeling pleasure. 4. Unresolved romantic and reproductive grief. 5. Karma with water. 6. Ancestral memories and biological loyalty. So I want you to understand that painful periods are not a life sentence. Luckily, they're not. They're actually an invitation to listen to your gut, to your cells, to your womb, and to the unspoken stories living in your body. Healing begins when you address both the physical terrain, colon health plus cellular receptivity and fluidity, and the emotional blueprint, the fears, grief, and ancestral patterns stored in your womb. Your period pain has a message. The question is, are you ready to hear it? If you want to go deeper and discover your specific hormonal imbalance pattern, I have created a free quiz that will give you a personalized roadmap to healing. The link is in the description below. I've also created the ultimate practical guide to natural hormone balance. It's completely free and walks you through the exact steps to start healing your body. Link is also in the description. And if you want to learn about the true cause of hormonal imbalance, the one thing doctors never talk about, click on my next video, where I break down the feminine trauma connection and the 4 archetypes that wreck your hormones. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of the 6 emotional roots resonated with you the most? Drop a comment below and let me know. If this video helped you, give it a like and subscribe because I have so much more to share with you on deep healing and feminine empowerment. Balance your hormones, reclaim your power, and remember, your symptoms are soul messages. I'll see you in the next video.